Ladies and gentlemen, I humbly apologise. We've turned the audio off and back on again, thus it works. My name is Michael Creeves-Mackintosh. You are joining us live from Dumfries Ice Bowl. Thank you to the loyal fans who spoke to friends, who spoke to me. The power of social media and indeed curling as a sport. So far, Michael Opel's team are leading. One stone or rock for the Canadian fans who invented the game. Is it a stone or is it a rock? Write in, let us know. But anyway, it's 1-0 to Michael Opel's team at the moment. The Blue Stones, which are Alan McDougall's team, I have to keep checking to see how to pronounce his name, are lying 1. So it could be all square at the end of the second end. There's a lot of shouting going on. Some of it is from this sheet. Let's have a look. It's past the first guard. It's going to hit the yellow. That's a fabulous shot. Wow. That is needle in a haystack stuff. Try saying that with a lisp, I do. At the end of the second end with sound. How exciting. It's been that sort of a day. I apologise again. Henry Carter. The lead for Michael Opel's team. Having said that, I think I'm wrong already. Once again, apologies, having checked the scores again and checked the colours, Michael Opel's team is leading by 2 stones to 1. Alan McDougall's team got a 1 in the first end, and Michael Opel's team got a 2 in the second, hence the score. Ben Fowler takes his start. It's about to come into shot. Ben Fowler is the alternate lead. Oh, he could be second. Okay, apologies once again. I've got confirmation from the team, and I got the order wrong. Okay, we have Tom Yegi is sitting this one out. Ben Fowler is the alternate second. So Andy Wilson is playing first, Ben Fowler is playing second, Andrew Reid is vice, and Alan McDougall is skip. I just had to go away and think about that because I don't want to relay information that isn't correct to you, the loyal curling fan. But I can tell you for certain that Alan McDougall is taking the next stone. Apologies for the delay in commentating. I just had to make the information that I was providing correct. It's drifting a little bit. Looks okay though. Needs to slow down, which it is. It's going to be just behind the tee, but it's still going to be shot. That's a very well played stone there by Alan McDougall. Michael Opel coming up now to take his stone. I've always said that the skips are an important part of curling. They take the responsibility, they sometimes play the trick shots, and they get the blame if, for whatever reason, the game didn't go according to plan. It is their name on the marquee, so to speak. Just while we are waiting for Michael Opel to take his stone, once again welcome along to the National Men's Championship 2015 in partnership with the English Curling Association. We are live from Dumfries High School in Dumfries, Scotland. Michael Opel takes his stone. It is coming into shot now. Ideally, it would be good if he could take out the yellow, which I think he is going to do. No, slightly off. It looked okay, but it sort of kept drifting out. That's unlucky. Now, if Alan McDougall can put a stone in the house, ideally close to the yellow that's already there, he can sit for two. Which would do him the world of good. As the scoreline at the moment is Michael Opel's team 2 and Alan McDougall's team 1. Still early days though. They're sweeping it, but they're not sweeping it with great urgency. That looks like a decent stone. Yep, well played. 2 yellow, which brings the score up to 3-2 after 3. So 3-2 after 3 ends. It's still a very, very close game. Let's begin the 4th end now with the lead, Andy Woolston. The stone has been released. It is coming into shot. In the next few seconds, there it is. Looks like a good weight. Doesn't need any sweeping. Maybe a little bit. No. Curse of the commentator. It's just short of the house. I think that's exactly what Alan McDougall wanted. Henry Carter, according to my notes, which so far tonight have been wrong, but I assume this is Henry Carter playing lead. And that is a very well played stone, because it will make it, and here comes the curse of the commentator, it will make it very difficult in the future to promote, that's a Koenig expression, to promote the yellow. Let's see what Andy Woolston can do about it. The team, incidentally, are from all over the UK. I know because I have asked them. And that's looks like a good way. It just needs to stop now. That's lovely. That's very good. Andy Woolston. Back to Henry Carter. Now, I would ask, hopefully, I say hopefully because you never know in curling, to try and either come up to the yellow or take it out. I think the takeout has been called. Mustn't assume when you're commentating. I think the takeout has been called. Watch this now, it'll be a draw. He's gesticulating up. But yet they're still swept. But yes, that's almost exactly what I would have asked to play. But it's very, very easy when you're up in a warm commentary box with a coffee to say that's what you would play. I must say, for the coaches and players who will probably watch this back, this is just my opinion. You are probably right in many, many cases. Ben Fowler. The stone has been released. Now the takeout has been called again. And rightfully so. The blue is sitting shot. Harry Mallows is due to take this next stone. I'm not sure taking out the front two would be the right thing to do. I say again, that's just my opinion. No, he's giving the skip is giving ice for the takeout in the correct position. Doesn't necessarily mean that this shot will be correct. Who knows? Let's find out. Even though it is a game of tactics, it also requires a little bit of luck, and I will be the first to admit that, and so will the players that are playing for you today. The stone has been released. Beautiful line. Yes. Oh, it might just get the guard. Oh, not quite. It looked like it was going to hit the two in the centre of the house, but that's unlucky. It has opened it up. The gap that was there, or wasn't there, is there now. Ben Fowler, the second for McDougall's team. He is taking the stone as of now. I'm not sure tactically what would be the right thing to do, purely because people are standing, so I can't see a whole view. But this looks okay, actually. Just needs to slow down. And we'll never know. There's somebody standing in the way. In fairness, it is the skip. Let's have a look. Ah, that's okay. That's okay. I think Blue is still sitting shot, but there is an opening. Sweepers are off the stone. They've been called off. Oh, it could hit the first one. No, that's very good. Got past the first one. That's a very well played stone. I'm not sounding surprised, but that's a very well played stone. I couldn't have played that as a wheelchair curler. You know, that's needle in haystack stuff. I think that's a measure. So far. Alan McDougall's team played Greg Dunn's team in the first session this morning. Oh, actually this afternoon. It just seems like a long way away. They had a mammoth game. They finished a long time after everybody else finished, and it came down to something like half a centimetre, I seem to remember. So if it needs to be a long drawn-out game, I'm sure Alan McDougall's team wouldn't mind at all. All being well, this should be Andrew Reid. I think if it can just come up to the blue or indeed hit the yellow just a touch. Seems to be going about it the right way. That's very well played. Very well played. Jamie Moulton. I know there's not a U in Moulton, but it's just the way I pronounce it. Yes, I think the thing to do would be to hit any of the yellows, actually. I'm not sure whether it will be possible. Let's find out. Not that I don't have any faith in Jamie's playing ability, because I do. All these players are expertly qualified. But something that the camera doesn't depict is what the difference between what you see and what the shot actually is. It's past the first guard. Yes! It's taken one away. Yes, so what you see as a curler when you're taking the shot is totally different to obviously, you know, the shot that you see on the TV or laptop or mobile handheld device, as it were. It's one thing that the cameras does not pick up. Guard has been called. Yellow is lying shot, so they want to guard that. They could be cheeky and fill the gap between the yellow and the blue. Which I think it might be on. It might be on. Sweep it. Yes, that's ideal, actually. I mean, if it was me, I would have had it a little bit further. But it's plugged in the gap. Take the guard off and promote their blue, is what I think is being called. It's very difficult to judge somebody's body language looking at their back. That's definitely takeout weight. That's well played. Now again, if that was me, I'd put the guard back in. Which I'm sure Alan will be thinking about right now. Alan McDougall leading his team. They're one in front. Taking his first stone of this end. Sweepers are on it straight away. Put the guard back in. It might be sitting a bit straight, actually. I think it's served a purpose. Every stone serves a purpose, but I think, cue the Great Escape music, I think he's got away with it. Again, it's just my opinion, and the coaches and players will probably be right when they watch this back. A lot of in-depth discussion going on. This is Michael Opel's first stone of this end. Again, personally, I try and promote the blue, but I think a takeout on the front yellow is the way to go. Well, it's not the way to go, it's the way that Michael is going. Stone has been released, it is coming into shot. Let's see if Michael Opel was right in his decision, which he probably will be, but I just like building up suspense. It's taken out one. That's a stone and a half. Well played, Michael. So as far as I see it, with glasses and a camera, at the moment Michael Opel's team are sitting one. McDougall taking his last stone of this end, and indeed the last stone of the end, or last rock, depending on whether you think it's stones or rocks. And that's a decent call. I think there might be one stone left. I think I might be getting ahead of myself. Yes, I think there might be one more stone. Ah, yes. Michael Opel has last stone. Okay, now, so he's sitting one at the moment. It would have to be a pretty decent draw to get two. I mean, I know people that would sort of put it through the house and take the one, but we're always taught in curling to sort of pick up more than one. If it comes up to the blue, that would be simply outstanding. Needs to keep going. No, it's one blue. Yep. One blue. The scores are tied at 3 stones all after 4 ends. Once again, I apologise to fans of Greg Dunn and James Dixon and their respective teams. Sadly, one of the cameras isn't working at the moment. We had it all set up, and for whatever reason, it wasn't quite there, so we apologise for that. But at the moment, we are covering, at the last minute, Alan McDougall and Michael Opel, and the game that is going on between their teams. It is 3 stones all after 4 ends. We did actually have a sort of sound problem, which we have sorted out, thank goodness. And thank you to the fans for getting in touch. Hopefully you won't want to put me on mute. And that is a pretty good stone. Pretty good by the lead, Henry Carter. Pretty good, purely because it's in front of the house, and if it was in the house, a straight takeout would be needed. And as we've seen today, you know, these guys can take out stones, so that's a pretty good stone. It's gone. This stone by Andy Wilson is going to pass the blue. It needs to stop. Still looks a bit heavy. That's well played. I think Henry Carter's going to be asked to draw or come up to it, come up to the yellow. Heavy draw, quite possibly. That's not just me hedging my bets. Heavy draw, possible takeout. No, I think come up to it. The sweepers have been called off. That is a beautiful stone. That is fabulous. How many positive words can be said? I mean, that is, again, needle in a haystack. It was a near perfect weight. I refuse to say perfect weight. Because every curler will go away and think, oh, if I'd given that a bit more or a bit less. As I said in the last game of the last tournament that was played, the great thing about curling is the stones are numbered. So at the end, the skip can see the number on the stone and, you know, give the person they're talking to in the nicest possible way. Andy Woolston, and that is another perfect stone. It's just hit the blue. I think the blue could still be shot, but as far as the line goes, that was perfect. And if the weight had been any more, the line would have been off. It's the perfect balance between the two. Harry Mallows taking his first stone of this 5th end. The sweepers have been called off, as you can see. The skip is waving his hand. Don't sweep it. It looks okay. It might just. Oh, that's a shame. Straight past a lot of them. The weight looked okay, even though it wasn't, if we're being exceptionally critical, which I plan not to be. Ben Fowler is taking his stone, the first, according to my notes, which I think it is. I've got to keep saying according to my notes, because as you know tonight, Royal Curling fans, tonight my notes have been wrong. This could be a better stone. I think Alan gave slightly less ice. Yes. That's pretty perfect. Again, the camera angle is slightly... It lies a little bit, but I'd say that was 2 yellow so far. Yes, it is. 2 yellow. I was right. Stop doubting yourself, Michael. Harry Mallows, the second for Michael Opel's team. Looks a little bit light. Needs a bit of help. It's over, so it's in. This truly is chess on ice, in a sort of sharp contrast to the game that we called earlier this afternoon, where the majority of that was takeout. This is purely stone for stone chess on ice. Some people like the takeouts, some people like the chess on ice. So today, the YouTube channel, Dumfries Curling, has given you a variety, which is what we're here to do. This highly competitive National Men's Championship for 2015 in partnership with the English Curling Association. I could be wrong, but I think that's a very good stone because it creates a degree of difficulty for Jamie Moulton coming up. He's signalling for... The skip is signalling for the, as far as I'm aware, takeout. Yes, he wants to just hit one of them. Sweepers have been called off. It's opened the gap. I'm not quite sure a stone would have fitted in that gap. But still, every stone has a purpose. Guard has been called. Andrew Reid will have received that call. And that is the call, actually. The line 2, McDougall's team are line 2. And my pronunciation is line 0. I think there was a small pickup. That happens not that often. If a stone picks up a little bit of dirt, it will probably change line, change weight. Could hit the wrong end. No, in fact, it's perfect. However, and I say this with taste, it has made absolutely no difference in that the yellow is still lying. At least one, possibly two, but the camera angle does deceive you just a little bit. But nevertheless, a very good stone. Yes, put the guard back in. Andrew Reid, once again, just play a guard stone. This is me being completely impartial. I support both teams equally. Andrew Reid has let the stone go. His final stone of this end. And it's tight. And it's light. And I can't really say the third word. There is a saying in wheelchair curling. Actually, it's not. It's yes, that's okay. That's fine. It's closed the gap. I'm still not sure a stone could be in between that gap, but you know, people doubted Houdini. Nevertheless, very well played there by Andrew Reid. Okay, Michael Opel taking his first stone of this fifth end. Seems to be some discussion. I have asked vice skips and skips in the past, what do you talk about, apart from obviously curling? And the answer that Kenny Murray, who was my commentating partner in the last tournament, it was simply not a lot. Which I found quite intriguing, actually. Not a lot. Not that I think that, you know, you talk about shopping lists and what you're having for dinner, but not a lot. Michael Opel. That's a very commercial name. And it's going to hit the first yellow. I hate to say I told you so. What did I say about a stone not fitting through that gap? Nevertheless, unlucky. It's opened the gap just a touch. I think a draw would be necessary. Notice I said necessary, not needed. Yeah, that's the perfect ice. Just for any curling fans that are new to curling and have decided to watch this for the first time, where the skip puts the brush and where the stone ends up will be different. And they're meant to be different. Something I learnt very early on. And I'm sure you will too, but I always thought that the stone ends up where the brush is. That's not strictly true. Have to use the brush as a guide. As far as able-bodied curling goes, I think it's within the rules. You can actually let it go and slide as far as you like, as long as you let it go. Could be like darts on ice. Anyway, Alan McDougall taking his second... Oh, first stone. What am I talking about? First stone of this fifth end. And that just needs to come round a touch. Yes. Now the takeout looks to be on. That's certainly what they're discussing. I said earlier in this broadcast that I think skips should be mic'd. I'm starting to regret that statement. Imagine what they might say. And some skips are more vocal than others. Both in able-bodied and wheelchair curling. It's a universal sport, you know. But the takeout looks on. Michael Opel has seen it. The sweepers have been called off immediately, which I think is a good sign. Yes. I'm not just shouting in time. Yes, that's... looks to be slightly light. Just laughing at my own joke there. Past the first blue. That is wonderful. And I think that might just be shot. Yes. Blue line 1. Alan McDougall taking his last stone of the 5th end, and indeed the last stone of the end, or last rock, depending on your preference. Either way, it's coming into shot. It's going to hit his own. Yes. That's 1 blue. It's not overly difficult, is it? Yeah, 1 blue. I'm not doing my own scoring. I will wait for the official score, but I'd call that 1 blue, and I think they have as well. I make no mistake about it. Sometimes when you make a call and they don't agree, there is an umpire who is on site with a measure, which is a sort of big metal contraption, for those of you who are new to curling. And it will measure with pinpoint accuracy. Yep, 1 blue. Just checking the official scoreboard, which takes the score to Michael Opel's team 4 and Alan McDougall's team 3. Still all to play for as we begin this 6th end. However, the teams get a 5-minute break after the 5th end, which is about now. So as soon as they're finished, I don't know what it's for. You try playing a 10-end curling game, but there's no coffee involved, which I think is a travesty. Nevertheless, a 5-minute break. Maybe travesty's too dramatic, and injustice, well, that's equally as dramatic. I don't know. 5-minute break. For those of you who like a set routine, as do I, tomorrow's game on Friday the 20th of February, the first session starts at 2 p.m. and the last session in the evening is at 8:30. And in the interest of fairness, commentators, for example me, are only told minutes before the game starts which game we are covering, so we don't swat up too much. I mean, we do swat up, but we don't swat up too much. It's just so that we don't have firm favourites and we can be totally impartial. Alan McDougall's team will have the hammer in the 6th end. It has been 2 ends since they have scored. I'm sure they'll want to put that right. It's not set in stone, that's a curling expression, but if you were going to give the hammer away in any end out of a 10-end game, the 9th end would be the end to do it, because it means you would have the last stone in the last end, and indeed the last stone in the match, in a roundabout sort of way. So tomorrow, on Friday the 20th of February, Alan McDougall will take on James Dixon's team. Not individually, I mean collectively, Alan McDougall's team will take on, just so you're aware, John Summers' team. What am I talking about? Alan McDougall will take on James Dixon's team, apologies, and Michael Opel will take on Brian Zachary's team. Brian Zachary's team, who get a bye in this session, but they won their first game quite convincingly. Apologies to Owen Reese's team, but it was quite definite. If you would like to get involved in curling here at Dumfries, there are many come and try taster sessions on offer. Please check our website. Dibca, that's dibca.co.uk. Where you can find dates for your diary and live curling of selected matches. There's also the shot of the month. And indeed information about the development of Dibca. Okay, I think the 5-minute break is almost up. Indeed it is. Right, we're just getting ready to begin the 6th end. We are just over halfway. And Henry Carter is going to begin proceedings. I wonder, does it make a difference after a 5-minute break? Does it increase your play? I'm sure there is some technical person who will say your heart rate is less. You're relaxed. I certainly find the first few ends very difficult. It's over the hog line. It's not necessarily where the brush was, but it's still in play, which is always useful. Andy Wilson. For Alan McDougall's team. Just needs to come past the first blue, which it has just now. There was a small hit involved. I don't think that fabulous call was meant for this game. I think it was the game across. It was meant to be a safety hazard. We meant to do that. It's possibly the best call I've heard all day. Michael Opel taking a good look at this stone. Sweepers have been called off. It needs to slow down. That is lying shot at the moment. Back rink, so he's called for the takeout. He's called definitely for the takeout. Alan McDougall has called for the takeout. That's the stone I would, or the shot I would call. But then again, I'm not the skip in this match, or this team. Could this be the end where takeouts are the way to go? Back ring weight again. Tap the yellow in the centre. It sounds so easy when you're in the commentary booth and not necessarily when you're down there playing. Michael Opel says it looks heavy. He may well be right. It needs to come round a little bit more. That's a very good stone. Probably was a touch heavy, but at the moment, Michael Opel's team are sitting 2 stones in front. Ben Fowler is the second. And there's no sort of set routine for positions. I could attempt to make one, but every team is different, every game is different, and what you play shot by shot can be different as well. So there really is no sort of set positions or set rules for set positions. Yep, back ring weight. That's not hack weight, so that's not takeout weight, that's heavy draw weight. Having said that, if Michael Opel was to move the brush to the left of where he has it right now and do takeout weight, or hack weight, I think Michael's starting to pick that up now. I could be wrong. Right, sweep, sweep, sweep. Here we go. All the way, right to the end. And the shouting is all part of the game. Ooh, he's just got the edge of that. I still think, and it's just my opinion, apologies to Michael Opel, but I still think if he had the brush on the other side and played a bit heavier, and asked Ben Fowler to play a bit heavier, it would have served a purpose. Could be wrong, probably am. I might get told off for it. Just my opinion. It's dying, slowing down. This time I totally agree with Michael Opel's call. Take the yellow out and sit 3. There are many ways to skin a cat. I'm not suggesting you do. I'm sure there's a less sort of animal expression. I shall think of one. Yes, that's beautiful. Sitting for 3. This could be a game-changing end, this 6th end. 6 ends minimum of a 10-end game. It states in the rules that I've been given. 6 end minimum of a 10-end game. And yes, I agree with that call as well. Take the blue out. It would be pointless taking out the 2 at the back of the house. And there's the call. It's drawing big time. Not quite sure I'd extend it to big time, but it is drawing. The ice condition is changing. It's another challenge when it comes to curling. It's not just your weight, it's not just your line, it's the ice conditions. And some teams, I think most teams carry around stopwatches. So they're able to know when the ice is slowing down and how much more to put in. It's a big mind game, is curling. Chess on ice, I think, sums it up. Michael Opel has waved the sweepers off. Nevertheless, they're sweeping. Now they're off. The stone is coming into Jamie Moulton has let the stone go. I think he might just catch an edge. Yes! Perfect. Needs to keep going. That's okay. Still 3 stones in the house that are beating the yellow on the outside. T-weight, yep. I agree with that call. Not that I'm looking for fault in every call, but it's always good to agree with one.
If it draws, we get straight raise.
Yep, I'd agree with that. If it draws, we get straightaways. Sweepers have been called off with immediate effect. Now they've been called back on. Looks light, looks very light.
Right back. Come on.
Okay, Michael Opel is coming to take his first stone of this, the 6th end, and I think even if he was to take the yellow, which is what he's indicating, there's every chance that McDougall could put it back in. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but could he promote the blue, the first blue? I think he sees that shot as well. Decisions. Each player only gets 2 stones per end, and the decisions will change as the game goes on. The moment you say get it next time, the opportunity to get it next time goes away. It's just a curling folklore.
Never stop.
The stone has just been released. slight again. This is where sweeping really comes into its own. Somebody on another sheet of ice has said we will hit the brush one day. That's almost my favourite curling expression of the day. The other one being it's meant to be a safety hazard. We meant to do that. Alan McDougall taking his first stone of this, the 6th end. It's going to catch the blue. Here's the thing, right? I think that Michael Opel is thinking to promote. Well, I say promote the blue, but guard might be out the question, as McDougall has done a sterling job of that himself. There is possibly a gap between the two yellows. At sort of 2 o'clock of the clock face that I've just made up for the house. He could be really selfish and hit the first yellow just a little bit to promote the blue and sit for 2. I think he might be weighing that shot up. He's seen it, he doesn't like it, he's going back to the gap. He would have to draw a considerable way. I must say, as somebody who was born in Middlesbrough, it is quite sort of, and moved up to Scotland, you know, I've lived in Scotland more than I've lived in England, but it is not funny, but it's different hearing regional accents that aren't Scottish play curl. You know, it's a trip for me. I think it's amazing. Just shows how universal curling is. Very proud to work with the English Curling Association. Thank you very much indeed, the powers that be, for choosing Dumfries as the venue. Good choice, in my opinion. That's as a volunteer. Michael Opel. Let's see if all that discussion helped in some way. I'm sure it did. It's drawing. I think he might be going for the shot that I said. How exciting. Yes, it's past the first yellow. It's promoted. Oh. It's like Mystic Meg. That's a very well played stone. I'm just more impressed that I got that one right. 2 blue as it stands. Trust me, I'm more impressed that I got it right. The commentator's curse doesn't always work. Alan McDougall, all apologies, I'm just impressed that I got that stone right. Okay, right, not biased at all. I think the draw could be on. It will be a sort of shot to nothing to try and take out the blue from there. This is the last rock of this end, giving away a 2 at the moment. Let's see if the last stone and the hammer, the advantage, is used. I think looks good. The stone has been released, by the way. Oh, Right, if that stays online, it'll hit the yellow. Might not have enough legs. Ooh, unlucky. Two blue. Which takes the score up to 6-3. Michael Opel's team with the 6. I have, in my research, asked many skips if the screaming involved in curling makes a difference, and I can't repeat some of the answers that I was given, but apparently it does help. You can't make the stone go any faster or any slower by shouting at it. Actually, most of the players have started listening to music. Henry Carter taking the first stone. It's in the house. You know, instead of shouting, I could just turn the background noise down like a civilized person. Yep, back way. Take out the blue. That's the way to go. Again, unless that's Andy's stronger handle, I'd give him ice on the left-hand side. Then again, I don't know him. I've never met him. I don't think that Alan is, I'm like say impressed, but yes, it drifted. It's going to sail straight past. Unlucky. Yep. I'm sure that Michael Opel isn't showing off by patting his head. That does mean sort of hit it square. I'm not saying that Michael Opel has a square head. Just let's get that disclaimer out the way before we start. But yes, hit it square, hit it dead on, or head on is probably the correct term, which it could still do. It's drifting. It's got rid of both of them. This, the 7th end, could be the takeout end. Certainly given ice. Given ice at the takeout. Or at least a small hit. Yes. Head on. That's well played. Well swept. And yellow is still... Well, yellow isn't still. It is now the shot. Harry Mallows now taking his first stone of the 7th end. We've played these 6th ends minimum. So if the facility was to close now, we could call it a fair game. I'm not saying it should. We've still got sort of 4 ends to go. Yes. It's very well played stone there by Harry. Ben Fowler stepping up. His first stone of this, the 7th end. I would ask for... You could probably get away with a draw. When I say get away, I mean you could probably ask for a draw and get an equal result, and I think that's what McDougall has asked for. It's going to come up to the blue. It's going to be slightly light. That is an opportunity. I was going to say missed, but having said that, they've cut it down to one blue, as the yellow is closest to the centre, beating the blue that Michael Opel is what can only be described as sitting on, in the nicest possible way. Harry Mallows has released the stone. It is coming into shot. It's probably going to be a takeout. Yep. Needs to stay there. That's well played. That's very well played. You know, I think I'm repeating myself. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You could give ice the other side of that stone and it would produce equal results. What happened last time was it sort of drifted to the other side. But let's see. It looks better. Michael says that now, as in me. Yes, it is. Thank goodness. It's it's done what's required. Has hit the blue, and they're now lying 2. I'm just saying this as an observer. Of course, these teams train and know each other incredibly well. It's a bit of a corny expression to say family, but when you spend a lot of time, playing, it's essentially throwing stones on ice with the same people, you get to know each other. So they'll know the strong and weak handles, and that is a cracking shot. Jamie Moulton, take a bow. That was one of the shots of the match, I think. It's totally changed the dynamic and tactic of the game. Andrew Reid, and thank you so much to McDougall's team for printing the names on the back of their shirts. I know it's not football, but it helps a commentator. Let's have a look. It's slightly light, but it could still be okay. It needs to turn a little bit more. Yes! Fabulous. The yellow is now stone. Stone shot. I don't drink, I'm just tongue-tied. Truly. Teetotal, just in case, you might get in touch with the facility tomorrow and go, was that commentator, was that slightly effeminate commentator, did he have a drink in him? No, I just get tongue-tied every so often. It's meant in the best possible way. Yes, hit the yellow is the stone, or the shot to be called. That's why Michael Opel is the skip, and I'm the commentator. And I must also say at this point, none of them can hear me. We're on a different level in the building. Andrew Reid taking his second and last stone of this, the 7th end. 7 of 10. Looks good. It's been called. Sweepers have been called off. Unless I'm very much mistaken, the yellow stones are sitting 2 up in this end so far. Thankfully, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to predict this next shot. You don't even have to be a commentator. You can just be a fan. Not that there's any great difference between the two. Take the yellow out and sit shot. However, the Yellowstone and indeed the team of Alan McDougall do have last stone in this end. Which would indicate there's probably still cause for a 1. So even if Michael Opel's team take out and take out and take out and take out, there's every chance. And these sweepers have been called off in the most obvious fashion I've ever seen. It needs to stay where it is, and it does. And it's taken 2 out. That's a fabulous shot. Well played. And you do also have the option of blanking the end. And this isn't a dig at a very popular player, but the only time so far I've seen and commentated on a blank end was David Murdoch versus Smith. And David Murdoch sadly ended up losing that game. But that's the only time in an able-bodied commentating situation that I've been in that I've seen a blank end. It works for some people. Means that you retain the hammer. I think this is too heavy to stay. Yes, it is. Michael Opel taking his last stone of this end, and Alan McDougall has the hammer, which means he has the last stone in this end. So as I said previously, there's every chance that it could either be a blank end or draw for 1. And then there's the whole debate between sort of curling purists of any nationality of is a 1 worth taking. And I would argue that the answer in this case is no, because even if Alan McDougall was to draw for 1, that would take him to 6-4 without the hammer. So, you know, it's all to play for. You know, do you risk giving up the advantage for 1 stone? And I think the answer to that is no, because Reed is giving the, as far as I'm aware, takeout. He wants to hit on the, that would be the outside of the stone. Blank end, quite possibly, the commentator says. Then you end up for a draw. But let's find out. I know what I would do, and I've said it about 4 times. And McDougall, last rock of this end. It looks heavy. Does it bark like a dog? I honestly, they moved it away far too quickly. I will have to wait and see for the official score. Why am I not sure? Because the stone seemed to stop and then be kicked out the way. So it could be 1 yellow. Which in that case would take the score up to 6-4. If not, and it's a blank end, the score will remain 6-3, and Alan McDougall have the hammer. Looks like they took the 1 because Alan McDougall's team are going first. just while there's a small gap in play, I'd like to extend my personal thanks to the Curling Development Officer, Graham Sloan, for showing me all the relevant buttons. And indeed, thank you very much indeed to the ice preps who have prepped the ice. Obviously, they're ice prepped, but I'd argue that the ice quality in Dumfries, it's the best in Scotland. There we go, I've said it. People travel from far and wide to play on this ice, and rightfully so. Long may it continue. Past the guard into the house, it looks slightly heavy. And as I say that, it stops beautifully. Back to Andy Wilson. The gesture is universal sweep. He even said it very loudly. Michael Opel isn't exactly backward in coming forward with what he wants his team to do, and rightfully so. There is 2 stones counting. Yeah. Can you see the facial reaction in the camera there? That's not exactly what Alan McDougall wanted Ben Fowler to play there. I was going to say it doesn't matter, but it does, because they're 2 stones behind as it stands, or sits, depending on your position. Just come up to the blue here, surely. Goodness me, I thought he was going to fall over there. That was a bit tense. Just come up to the blue, hit it a touch. No, he's going to hit the yellow. Forget everything I just said. That's third shot. According to my eyes, yes. It has been called. My eyes work. How exciting. Third shot. Find the positive. Ben hasn't hogged it. And again, Alan McDougall doesn't seem that impressed. Obviously, my unbiased opinion, find the positive. If I wasn't commentating, I might well agree with Alan, but could this be the end where it all goes the shape of the pear? Well, that's pear-shaped for people who didn't get that expression. This is the thing I always sort of struggle with when it comes to curling. If you don't get the shot right first time, why would you ask to, or be asked rather, to play the same shot again? Obviously, if this shot goes 100% correct, then I stand corrected or sit corrected, but it's going to hit the first blue, which is, again, not exactly what Alan wanted. One blue, two blue. Yes, two blue so far. The yellow to the left-hand side, or quarter two, if the house was a clock face, is sitting third shot. Jamie Moulton, the vice skip for my Global's team, hits the yellow, hits one yellow. That's a pretty decent shot. I had to stop myself there from using a word I wasn't going to even begin to entertain the idea, but that was a very tactical shot. Yes, it's taken one away. And now, as far as my eye, it's one blue. The yellow, sitting at quarter two, is second shot. Yep, it makes all the difference. Yes, thank goodness, makes all the difference when the skip calls out the same shot. Yes, take out the yellow and sit for three is the call. Both hands are up. That's definitely not sweep. And yes, but it's also taken away. An apology there from Jamie Moulton. Not quite necessary. Two in front as it stands. Alan McDougall taking his first stone of the eighth end of 10. Seems to be a straight takeout shot. The stone has been released. I don't know why I say that. It's just to sort of avoid the inevitable silence as the stone comes into shot. I don't like the sound of my own voice that much. That's well played. Taking both stones out to play it. Don't really know what they're discussing. It's definitely the shot to play, and the blue sitting at quarter past. If the house was a clock face, is definitely the shot at the moment. This is the bit where I go, what are they talking about and why? Michael Opel and his team do have the hammer in this end. Apology has been given. I'm not sure if it's by Michael Opel. I can't really tell. There's more than one sheet playing at the moment. Just needs to stop. That's almost perfect. What is he even apologising for? That's what I want to know. Having said that, it's a straight takeout shot. Hate to state the obvious, loyal viewers and listeners. I know it doesn't really help when I'm sort of stating the obvious to you, but I need to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Straight takeout shot for Alan McDougall. Again, I don't think the shouting is for this particular stone. That's pretty good. Just leave it there. Yes. But again, and I hate repeating myself. Well, don't then. But I hate repeating myself. It's a straight takeout. Sit for two. I don't know what they're discussing. I don't know why. I'm not laughing at them, I'm laughing with them. I'm sure it was a very brief discussion. Take the yellow out, sit for two, and move on to the ninth end, the penultimate end. If it goes well, 8-4. If it doesn't, 6-5. Might get an edge. It might go straight through. One yellow. 6-5 it is. A little known fact about curling in Dumfries, we do still have the world record for the longest game ever played. I'd love to read out the time, but somebody's reset the clock. But we do still have... it was hours and hours and hours and hours. But we do still have the record. Something that I know that Graham and his team are very, very proud of. As we start this penultimate end, this 9th end of 10. And it's just over the hog line. It's not as drastic as I made it seem to be. Just sit at the front of the house, as long as it doesn't go out the back. I was going to say a burglar's never been useful running out the back door, but then that would advocate that burglars are remotely useful. It seems a touch light, I must admit. It's, having said that, it's past the yellow and just past the yellow. Again, it looks light. Please don't promote the yellow. That wouldn't be. Ooh, just. That's well played. The gap between well played and not a very good shot at all is very, very slim. Ben Fowler, the alternate second, who is inadvertently responsible for me getting the notes wrong, has released his stone. Nothing against him, he's a very nice guy. Just needs to keep going. Yes! That's guarded the yellow, which I'm not sure. I think that's what was needed. Certainly what was wanted. Assuming I'm looking at the right stone, he let that go with takeout weight, and yes, Harry Mallows is going for the takeout. He's unfortunately hit the wrong end of the yellow. And I say it again without sounding rude, but that's made absolutely no difference. Well, I know it's easy for me to say. Now, if I was at the other end taking the stone, as Ben Fowler has just took the stone, I wouldn't be able to see the takeout. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not on. Could just mean my eyesight's bad. Needs to keep going. Needs to keep going. And that's unlucky. Just a touch more weight and it would have hit the blue. It didn't. It hit the yellow. Obviously. That's one of the strangest things I've ever seen. The sweepers are waved off and then asked to sweep intensely again and then waved off. Apparently it makes a difference. Hit the yellow. It's still one blue though. Andrew Reid, the vice for McDougall's team. Alan McDougall is up next. Yeah, split them. At least that's what I think the signal was. I've never been very good at charades or charades. Or indeed pronouncing. Announcing slightly different though. Andrew Reid takes the stone. It has been let go. And it's just shy of takeout weight. Seems to be online. But it's slowing pretty quickly. It's not the split that McDougall wanted. But every stone serves a purpose. I think that's the lesson of today, and indeed my saying. Every stone serves a purpose. Apart from the ones that go straight through, they serve no purpose. And trust me, I've thrown many stones that have went straight through. And indeed, they've served no purpose. Jamie Moulton. Or Moulton. Keep putting a U in his name for some reason. Apologies, Jamie. Still a relatively close game. There's one stone in it. Stress again that it was the team led by McDougall that took over the first session of play. In fact, there was a moment where I thought that the first session of play was going to run into the second session of play. Just for trivia, I managed to have a coffee, have dinner, set up for tonight in vain, and they still hadn't finished. So, it all matters. Andrew Reid, his second stone and last stone of the penultimate end, and that is perfect. There's no other words really. 2 definitely. And probably a measure. No, 3 definitely. What am I talking about? 3 definitely. And a measure for the 4th shot, which will blow this game wide open if it stays the way it is. But of course it won't, because that's curling. Jamie Moulton, or Moulton, must be the way I pronounce it. That's definitely takeout weight. Yes. I wouldn't bother sweeping that. It's going too quickly. But they are anyway. Might hit all 3 of them. And does. Alan McDougall coming up to take his first stone of this, the penultimate end of this 10-end match. The stone has been released. I'm still not quite sure whether what was called, actually. It didn't appear to sort of give a clear sign, but that's I was going to say the best of a bad bunch. Goodness me, it's not that bad. That's useful, actually, because it's guarded. We're just coming up to the 3-hour mark. We have been broadcasting for this, the second session of the and final session of the first day. Michael Opel now. The sweepers have been called off already, which I can never work out if it's a good sign or a bad sign. Oh, yes, that's pretty good. That's perfect. That is the shot of the day for me. Yes. Let's give credit where credit is due. That is the shot of the day. They've went from 1 down to 3 up. And if it stays the way it is, McDougall may have to think about the handshake stage. Can you get 4 in the final end? Can you expect your team to sort of step up? Which I'm sure you can, but you know, 4 in an end or the last end's quite a tall order. Alan McDougall leading his team, and that is takeout weight. My goodness. Crisis averted for Alan McDougall's team. Back to shot again. Okay, this is the last rock. Notice I didn't say stone. Of this... I'm just more impressed I didn't say stone. Of this, the penultimate end. Yes, go for the takeout. And sit 3. Or even 2. That's my unbiased opinion. And that is also takeout weight. So much so that Michael Opel practically fell over delivering that stone. Takes out the yellow and his own blue, but it doesn't take out the yellow. My goodness, 1 yellow. 6 all going into the final end. This, ladies and gentlemen, 6 all going into the final end for the second time in one day. McDougall's team are going to take it to a last end decision. But crucially, they will have the last stone, or last rock of the match. Michael Opel's team, that is. And remember how I said if you're going to give the hammer away, or indeed take the hammer, you're going to take it in the final end. Not everything I say is pointless. Most things. The final end, it is 10 to midnight. And but I said it before and I'll say it again. You do sort of lose track of time when you're in this building. Andy Woolston. And this is truly where leads are crucial. In fact, the whole team are crucial. So, if ever you're going to do a perfect shot, now would be the time to do it. Having said that, well, it's in. Well played. But again, McDougall doesn't look that impressed. I don't know him well enough to say that could be his natural look, and I don't mean to be offensive, but from the 7th end, he hasn't really looked that impressed in sort of shots that have been taken, which is a shame. And that in itself is coming from one of the most expressive curlers you've ever seen in me. Thankfully, none of the matches haven't exactly been filmed yet. I think there is plans to. Okay, Henry Carter, the order of the day, draw around the first. As long as you sort of stay in the house, which it's going to stop anytime now. Well, without sweeping, it would have stopped, but it's thanks to the ale sweeping of McDougall and his fellow sweeper in his team. It is through the back. He's Alan McDougall is giving ice for front of house. I don't mean in a cinema situation. I'm not trying to be funny. They just sort of come into my head. Ideally, if it could pass the first guard, the first yellow, and sit in the house, that would be the order of the day. And that would be a good sign-off point for Annie Woolston. Line's good, but it's going to be tight. My goodness. Oh, keep going. That's okay. That's okay. That's a good day at the office for Andy Wilson. Did what was required. Henry Carter coming up to take his last stone of the day. Now, if a centre guard is what Michael Opel wanted, that's almost perfect. So much so that Henry Carter, after Michael Opel gesticulated and said, "I'm not happy with that shot," Henry Carter spoke up and said, "It's a centre guard you wanted," and there it is. But goodness, if it was a centre guard, that's almost perfect. Ben Fowler. I could have sworn he just said, "Bring in the coffee." That's a very good stone, and it's counting as well. Well played, Ben Fowler. I'm sure he said, "Bring in the coffee." Is that me hearing? Is that me hearing things? Yep, hit it head on, take the guards away, thus creating an opportunity to take out the yellow with any luck. Barring a miracle, I'm not sure how he will get this in one shot. He'll certainly do damage. Perfect. My goodness. That's to Harry's credit, actually, not mine. That was pretty perfect. How much of that was luck and skill? I'm sure I'll ask Harry that tomorrow. And if I can repeat the answer, I will in tomorrow's broadcast. Ben Fowler taking his last stone of the game in the evening. I must say, 6-all, now's not the time to play a guard game. Because I think we get half points for a draw. Or peels, as we call it in Scotland. An expression which I've never used and will never use again. But peels is the sort of Scottish term for a draw. The pressure is really on now. We get to vice skips and skips. Thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead, there's every chance that Michael Opel will go for the takeout here. If Andrew Reid can tuck in behind the first yellow, which I think he might well do. Or not. Curse of the commentator. I think Jamie Walton will be asked to promote the blue, not that blue that's just came into shot. It's a different blue altogether. Oh, what am I talking about? There's not even blue there to promote. Well, in that case, just don't quite fill the gap, but try and draw round, which is the shot that they're looking at. Michael Opel will have assessed the scene. I was going to say damage, but there's no damage as yet. I could be wrong, but I think Michael Opel has given ice to try and hit at least, and or take out or split. Let's have a look. No. It's it just hit the wrong edge of it. Got to remember I'm commentating and I'm not watching at home. I apologise for excessive use of the word no. But that is not the shot that Michael Opel wanted to play, and that's left McDougall in a bit of a pickle. Seems to know what he's doing now. That's the right shot to play. Andrew Reid has let the stone go. Should be coming in shot in the next maybe 5 seconds, if that. He's drawing to a close his contribution to this game. Make it a good one. It's past the first blue. It just needs to stop, which I think it might be a tad heavy. That's a technical term. Means slightly heavy. Not helped by Michael Opel sweeping. Or indeed helped by Michael Opel sweeping. depending on who you're supporting. See, we're not used to that in wheelchair curling. It's still very alien to watch able-bodied people, e.g. people who can walk, sweep a stone. It's still rather perplexing. Jamie Moulton. Now this is interesting. Michael Opel has the hammer, he has last stone, and I really don't see the benefit in a blank end. You only get half points for a blank end, so there's every chance that if you clear the way you can draw. Which is exactly what Jamie Moulton did. Now it's the skips. Now truly the pressure is on now. The heart rate goes up a little bit. Mine certainly does. I'm not even playing. Even if Alan McDougall was to hit this short and just in the house, it would make a takeout awfully difficult. Let's wait and see. See if it makes any difference, which I'm sure it will. I'm just building up suspense. Last end and all that. Okay, the stone has been released. Alan McDougall. Just needs to tuck in behind the blue. Can Michael Opel see enough of that yellow stone to take it out? Quite possibly. I think that you could probably see half of it from the other end. I know there's people at home going, we can see all of it. You've got a camera on the thing, but as I've said before in this game, the camera lies a little bit. It's what you can see, actually physically see when you take the shot. Let's wait and see. Michael Opel. That's takeout weight. Sweepers have been waved off. I think he's got that. Yeah, he's got an edge. An edge, if that. Yeah, that's sort of a cross between painfully unlucky and an opportunity. Painfully unlucky for Michael Opel's team and an opportunity for McDougall's team. Having said that, Michael Opel has last stone, but if McDougall was to put a stone exactly where the brush is, it would mean that Michael Opel cannot take two stones out at once. So this tactically could be crucial. And I also must say I apologise if anybody watches this who's played today and I mispronounce their name. I'm from the north. That's not against people from the north, but my accent's quite broad. It's not meant in a sort of satirical, offensive way. I don't know. This needs to stop. Needs to stop. And I don't know if it has stopped. Yes, it has. Right in the centre. Okay, last rock of this, the last end of a 10-end game. And I think, judging by the fist bump that McDougall just made to his voice, I think he thinks he's got this. And he may well be right. you certainly can't take 2 stones out, but even if he was to take the centre yellow out and stay, Michael Opel that is, even if he was to take the centre yellow and stay, that would be 1 blue, and Michael Opel's team would win. But this is the last stone of the last end of the last match of the day. Well, one of them at least, the only one we're covering at the moment. Let's have a look. As you can see, the stone has been released, and it is a heavy draw weight. Why can I tell? Because I've been watching them for 3 hours along with you. And the line looks okay, it just needs to come over a little bit. Lovely. Right. They're not even touching that, which I think is a bit... Right, sweep, 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 sweep. Do you know, I think... The handshake says it all. I think the yellow have got 1. This is why we have cameras to capture these moments. A very expertly played game. But it is, according to my calculation, 1 yellow, which means that McDougall has led his team to beat the team of Michael Opel. We are back broadcasting live from 2 p.m. tomorrow. Please join us. I've been Michael Goose McDougall. I hope that I haven't been too annoying for you. I will see you all again tomorrow. Until then, it's a very good evening from Dumfries High School.